For more on the ministerial retreat and mid-term review, I'm now being joined online by the Executive Director of Lead Network Africa, Chukwuma Kenwa. Well, good to see you, Chukwuma. You know, many issues have been tabled so far by the President, his deputy, and of course, so many other guest speakers, as much as the AFDB President, Mr. Additional. Are there areas of interest from what was said at the retreat?
Well, one of the things I observed from the submissions of Mr. President and the report, which is quite worrisome, is that when you want to measure performance, records must be matched with realities. And of course, we expect to see numbers creditably represented in some issues such as that of power. I think the statement of Mr. President when he has to do with assessing performance and power was rather ambiguous, talking about a system they have deployed to ensure that power gets to undeserved Nigerians. And I begin to ask, who are those undeserved aspects of the society? I expected to see from Mr. President how many watts of energy has been improved under your own administration, and then what are the critical plans you have yearly from now until the projected 2025. Of course, his administration is going to end in less than 2 years, but he already has planned. But having spent 6 years, there is no clear structured plan to show that Mr. President is committed to anything in terms of improving power. I'm also concerned of the very fact that despite the fact that the economy under him has been going down continually, and that one of the models he adopted, which of course is the conditional cash transfers, it's not sustainable. You want to model after great nations like America, but even you have a situation now where your debt is almost outweighing your revenue. It ought not to be so. And with that, he's thinking of expanding the social register, National Social Register, to accommodate more 1 million Nigerians. And we know that these are part of the conduits through which the monies of the country are lost.
Now, let's take the case of power, which you mentioned. What are those key indicatives that you would have loved to see in the president's speech, especially when he spoke before his ministers?
According to Lord Kelvin, when you talk about something, you must be able to talk about in terms of numbers. And Kelvin alludes that if you are not able to talk in terms of numbers, then what that actually means is that you lack a qualitative knowledge of what you are talking about. So what this particularly means is that if the president cannot be able to tell us in terms of numbers how many, to what extent has power improved under him, then what that practically means is that he has not done a lot in that aspect. He has not.
All right, how would you rate the federal government's economic sustainability plan regarding its implementation and prospects, going by what the vice president said, saying that whatever the country is going through can be surmounted, is surmountable, I beg your pardon.
Of course, before you talk about sustainability plan, no plan works without the political will. I have not seen, and we have not seen, any clear demonstration, commitment under this administration to do the needful in terms of rejigging the economy on the path of recovery. We are not just talking about celebrating like minor numbers where you witness a 2% growth and then 5% growth, which is now the highest in 6 years, and that is what we are celebrating. We know that some other nations were during their development process when they were still developing. Figures that they celebrated were like 18%. We saw China's rising. How does 2% constitute a rising for our nation? And why will anyone be celebrating that when we've not seen political will in cutting down government expenditures, cutting down like just the proposed budget that we saw recently? We saw how much was earmarked for the president's travels, and of course his feeding plan. And you wonder if a president on his own could not make certain sacrifices in a time of economic hardship and turmoil as we are at this point, then the person is not in any way committed towards ensuring that the economy recovers. Because at the moment, of course, when you talk about economics, you must match records with realities. On papers, the economy grew. On papers, the nation recovered from recession. But in reality, the inflation and the chances of the common man to survive it's becoming quite very biting, and Nigerians can attest to that.
You know, one of the key things Nigeria is dealing with at the moment is insecurity, and the president also made reference to that when he said the government has been able to approve 13.3 billion naira to kickstart the community policing initiative across the country. How do you see this helping to solve the lingering insecurity problem in Nigeria?
Honestly, have we funded the police force as the key security agent to manage internal security crisis all across the nation? We even have a situation where the military are similarly taking over the position of the police in terms of internal security. We keep weakening the police force. And if you have a weak police and then you now have an initiative to collaborate with the citizens to work more with the police, share intelligence, share information, call the police when there are issues up. If the police force is not strong enough to contain the current challenges, a weak police force cannot play a vital role as a partner in community policing. So you have community, you have police there, the two have to work together. And we know that the police have to be strong to be able to ensure that the initiative of community policing work. They need to be funded, they need operational vehicles, they need all of the upgraded arms and rifles. So if they don't have all of those things and challenges like we've seen in various communities, pockets of violence are such that the ammunitions that are available to the miscreants are stronger than those of the police, how will that constitute a more secure nation? So I see that as a misplaced priority. Let's do the first things first. In fact, as a matter of fact, I'm one of those who have always advocated the military should go back to the barracks. Let their basic role, or constitutional role of protecting the territorial integrity of the nation, let's still maintain it. Let's invest into the police force, retrain, and most importantly, focus on the recruitment process. Because when you look at the caliber of people in the police force, it's worrisome that due diligence is not done in ensuring that the right kind of persons with clean records are recruited into a very sensitive platform such as the Nigerian police.
Chukwuma Okenwa, many thanks for speaking with us.
Yeah, thank you.